Yeah.
So we know virtually nothing about the show because so little has come out about
They,
it.
they,
Very
they,
secretive.
they had the panel as far away from the press room as they could possibly make it.
Hold it. So you guys weren't.
I was there,
we
but
weren't able to
nobody
make
there
it.
was
No,
there.
yeah, we have other.
I see. Okay, so
What you can.
okay, so in 1963, President Kennedy and a team of, especially one particular Dr. Ensman, but they decided to secretly launch a spaceship into space, which is where spaceships go. And at the time, well, you were in there with the
Yes.
Project Orion references. The fact of the matter is, during this time, they actually found a way that they could completely conceivably, and even to this day, they say it would still work. They had the capability then, and they would use the same capability to, at the time, though, they could only do it for 100 people. So it isn't entirely out of the realm of possibility. What happens is now 2014, and you see that there have been, and now please get my numbers right on this one, because I thought it was 500, but maybe then and there someone said 600 people were put on this ship in 1963. It's a really super groovy 1963 ship. It's not like a warship, but it's not, it's not like it's really amazing set design. And
It's really
and
6 stories tall now. That's what they said.
Can I tell you? First of all, when I was doing the camera test, our DP Pierre, who's only ever done features, but he wants to be near his family. He was sitting we were sitting together at lunch, and I didn't see any of the sets or anything, with a photographer, and the photographer was saying, "Oh my gosh, you got like these sets. They're humongous." And Pierre said, "No, these aren't humongous. These are ginormous. These are things that you don't see on a feature film." So I was like, "What?" Like, you get very sort of excited. We go in to see it. Have you guys been in, like, when you shoot in a huge, like, studio warehouse? That they're just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So huge. So imagine that you're going to walk in. Okay, for instance, the size of this, what we're in here, would be, with a couple bedrooms, would be the size of, my family's name is Bryce, so the Bryce quarters. There's 4 levels, and on each level, there's the Bryce quarters, there is the Denninger, the captain's quarters, which is obviously way bigger. There will be a library, there will be like the cafeteria, and it goes all the way around with an elevator in. And so when we're shooting in sets, we're just on a different floor in a different room. Each part of this, it's huge. And then there's a running track around the top, like a full running track where people could run. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. It's really, this is also a new genre for me. I was like on Rescue Me for 7 years in New York, which is firefighters and, just gritty, real, it's amazing. And I would even say to Trisha, because of her being on Battlestar Galactica, she was just like, these sets are phenomenal. Like, it's pretty mind-boggling.
You know what they spent on the sets?
That I do not know. I know it is a lot. and that's why they keep saying, we're pretty certain you're going to get the back 6, because people don't put this kind of money into sets if it can't go, longer. And I know they've already bought the next 6 scripts, but they haven't picked up. I think there's maybe 7 of us. There's like a good 16 of us, but like 7 that were like the full regulars, but that I would imagine we'll have to pick up all of those people as regulars too.
We were kind of talking earlier about, because you launched in 1963, so you missed a lot of significant events, like the civil rights movement and all those other, 60s, 70s. So but you jumped to 2014. Are you going to deal with those issues on the ship? Like, are you going to be like kind of stuck in the past a little bit and not as progressive? Or?
Yes, and yet, yes. In many ways, we are. We have the clothes that we had in 1960. Some people may have repurposed or recycled, but my character wears like nice 1960 dresses, very feminine, and shoes and whatnot. The style of the ship is the style of the ship, though. We've kept it very, very clean and brand new looking, considering it's 50 years old. So all of that is we have no contact with Earth, so we know like Gilligan's Island and Gidget, and in terms of the books, at one point when someone's going to be investigating a murder that happens, it starts to stir things up because we've never had such violence on our ship. what he has to do is he has to go back and look at films or novels to sort of like learn and to start like thinking, you know what I mean? Thinking, investigating. Yes, because
Are there any weapons on the ship?
Can I answer this
Well, what I
question?
meant was the person was murdered with a shot. Were there weapons, or was it just a stab? A poisoning? Well, we know somebody was murdered. He told us that.
Yes, there was someone murdered. We discover her body on the beach, and we find that she has these bizarre rope
They don't know
burns.
about the beach.
Okay, I can tell about the beach. We have a beach on the ship, you guys. We have a beach, and it looks like, imagine shooting Truman. You know the movie Truman? It's like that because it's like a back studio drop, but it's sort of painted with birds in a really lovely way, and then you swim in a bit of fake sand, and so we've been given, these weird worlds so we can kind of feel like we have more places to go, when in fact we don't. And so, sort of back to parts of the story, like my character and most of us, especially my age range or older, we were born on the ship, and I probably won't make it. We're on a 100-year journey to this place, Proxima. We've lost contact with Earth, and sorry, I just overheard Philip, and then I'm like, oh, should I be doing those points?
They already mentioned that at the panel. So it's a 100-year trip. What they weren't clear about, though, is it's 100 ship years. Correct? Because you're 50 years into
No, you
it.
want to know what? It is 100 Earth years because it is 2014 in the present.
All right.
But, we are still,
So
dressed in having...
what is your rate of speed? Because time slows down the faster you go.
This is again when I'm going to have to look over at Philip. And when he comes over, because he also, those things aren't, we've had 4 scripts now that we've read.
They haven't addressed them yet.
And yes, and the signs of it. However, he has, like, it is incredible the things that he, knows and will explain, like our food and how our food happens and why it happens. And so
I wanted to ask him about animals too, but he already threw in a thing about the fish.
Yeah, yes, and we do
that would be kind of awkward taking all the water but he's using it as part of the illuminate the ship. So.
Yes, and then and we do have our little beach, and there is a thing, and I think this is fine. I actually wear a seahorse necklace.
Is it seawater? Or is it fresh water?
I don't know these things. I'm so sorry. I know my lines when I show up. I'm not going to taste it but I actually did say to everyone, I go, wouldn't this be super cool if we had like a little, like one time after work, we actually like hung out on our like crazy set beach, you know what I mean? Had a beer or something. So we will find out, but they have been swimming in it. So.
When you're speaking, is slang stuff that's from the 60s, or is there kind of a new slang that's created?
It's a little bit. There was definitely, I feel like there was a bit of a period adjustment to the language, but and again, I don't know exactly when Nito or those things happened, but I have not seen those, that stuff sort of happening. But again, it's 50 years later, and so my parents, however, who were, brilliant scientists, so who may not have said those things anyway, so it's, I guess I don't feel like we've quite addressed any of the 60s, so that would be a no. I don't think so.
Tell me that you've only shot the pilot, right?
We've only shot the first 2 episodes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is a 1 hour. I'm so glad that you're in.
Well, I wanted to see both, but I didn't realize you guys had scheduled the press conference 6 miles from where the panel was. You must have come by bus or trolley or something.
Yes, we did, and it took us forever even to get from the last place we were.
Now, I'm sorry. It said that it was a 6-episode event. Is that like hard in stone, or if it does well, then they can expand that?
Yeah, our contracts, they have us, if they want, for 6 or 7 years. Obviously, they'll have to give a certain date. They'll have to release us or keep us. I do know that 6 more scripts have already been bought, but nobody has been picked up yet. And again, they, as of yesterday, have now seen, and I'm sure there's no way it's been cut together yet, but they probably by next week will maybe see a cut of the first episode. But I do know everybody's very happy and very excited. So
how do you feel about your character and how you're interacting and the amount of screen time you get, or on-air time, or whatever you want to call it?
It's wonderful in all ways. One, because I'm a mother of a 4-year-old girl. I love an ensemble thing. I also love an ensemble thing because you don't have the pressure of you know what I mean,
Carrying the whole thing.
of carrying the whole thing. And then I think it's really great because the show can just go different places, pick up, you know, on this story, similar to sort of how Lost, you know, you could sort of go in and out of the different characters. They're all quite interesting. And coming off of Rescue Me, where it was a grittier, rougher show, my character is very feminine, and she's a very smart scientist, but feminine and gentle, and that is actually really awesome and exciting for me, because for a while, people, though I'm Canadian, people would say, oh, she's too New York, or, you know, she's too this or too that, and so I kind of feel like I get to, you know, shake that up for myself and for my career, and not sort of like playing the same thing.
Time for one more question.
We didn't get really a description of who your character is, so can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Sure. My character's name is Dr. Juliet Bryce, and I'm the head of the medical department, and I'm also a head psychiatrist, psychologist. I think that we probably wear many, many hats, all of us, on the ship. I have a daughter, Nora, played by a very talented young new actress, Jacqueline Byers, who's amazing, and she is just starting to go through the crisis, which is when kids are coming of age, when they realize that they have no choice in their destiny, that they're on the ship, that they're going to some bizarre planet, but that, you know, there's not many options of what they can be in life, that we actually get matched up. When you get married, you have to be told you're allowed or chosen to have children, because we have to keep the population constant. So she's starting to go through some stuff and is having feelings for someone from the lower deck, and I know that she won't be able to be matched with them, and so that as a mother that maybe possibly had fallen for somebody that she wasn't supposed to when she was younger on the ship, and knows how heartbreaking that can be, I'm trying to guide her away from that. And I'm privy to the fact that there was a murder where a lot of people aren't, and I'm fearful for my daughter and for anyone on the ship.
Are they controlling whether you have a daughter or a son?
I do not believe that, but again, Philip, that in his mind, anything is possible. I bet
because
he
somebody
may.
would have had to die 4 or 5 years ago for you to have a 4-year-old, right?
Yes. Yeah. Well, I actually have a 17-year-old on this ship, but in life I have the 4-year-old. Yes. And no one had to die for her, thank goodness. Yes. Okay, sorry.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.